What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to be looking at the Justice League members in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I wanted to rank them in terms of who I think was most improved to least improved. Now, this doesn't mean they're my favorite characters. I think I want to make that very, very clear right now. Because my number one, the one who's most improved, is absolutely not my favorite character, okay? So this is just who I think they elevated, but it's not a list of who I think they did best. And by the way, Steppenwolf, I wanted to include him. I made the mistake of making this just Justice League members, so there's no going back now. But Steppenwolf was definitely improved, so I do want to just kind of give credit there. Actually, every character, I truly do believe, some characters more than others, but I really do believe every single character, maybe besides Martha, was improved in this movie versus the original, okay? So, let's go over the list. Number 6, so we're going off the 6 Justice League members here. Number 6 is Aquaman. Now, again, this does not mean I don't think he was improved at all, because he was, and this does not mean he was my least favorite character, because I don't think he was, okay? It's just that what they did with him in the, Josh Whedon's Justice League, they didn't do much. What they did in this Justice League, I will admit, they also didn't do much. He had a lot of the same purpose. He had a little bit more character depth here. He had a little bit more of a push towards what would become Aquaman, but like the movie. But I don't know what he was actually doing in terms of like when he was fighting Superman or when he was fighting Steppenwolf, when he was stopping the water under the harbor in the first fight with Steppenwolf as well. Like, he did mostly the exact same stuff that he did before. I think he had some funny one-liners. He was definitely cool. Like, I love Jason Momoa as Aquaman. That's a perfect casting. But I just don't think overall he did all that much more there was a lot more character development, I would say, but not as nearly as much, I would say, as other characters. Number 5 is Batman. And this is hard because I think they improved him in some ways, some actually really good ways, and then they weakened him in others. The ways they weakened him overall, I would say, were not being the greatest leader. Now, yeah, he was, the founder, and he was the one trying to bring everybody together, and ultimately he did that. It was because, like, without him, they wouldn't have been able to, you basically unite the 6. You can't unite the 7 when Martian Manhunter came in the last 10 seconds of the movie. So he, obviously gets credit for that. But, and again, being a leader, he was a follower a lot of this movie, which I don't think was bad. I think it was kind of like, it didn't stand out. It only really, and maybe this is why it's not that much of a complaint. Like, this is not something that like brings a rating down or stuff like that. But when you watch it, I feel like it's not that big of a deal that everybody is kind of bouncing ideas off each other, and this person may get a turn having a good idea or doing something, like pivotal, and then that character does. Like, it's a work by committee kind of thing, okay? Which I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think the movie actually works pretty well like that. With that being said, Batman, or Bruce Wayne, whatever you want to think about it, he is the leader, and he didn't really act all that much like a leader in this movie. So that's the weakness. The pro is he was such a much better fighter. He was more capable just in general. And to me, that's a big deal. The only reason he's here is because he kind of gets weighed down by some of the weaknesses that were brought on his character. But I mean, my God, it was laughable. Like, I remember watching the very first time Josh Whedon's, where I was like, he does nothing, and then my wife and I rewatched it about 2 weeks before, Zack Snyder's version, and because I was thinking about it, I was focusing on it. He never is effective whatsoever. He has like the hardest time ever dealing with one parademon. Literally, it's the hardest thing, on planet Earth for him to take out one. In this movie, he's much more capable. He defends himself against Superman relatively well for, I guess as much as you can against Superman, right? So I think he is much more capable on his own without relying on other people basically to save him, and that is a really big increase here. Number 4 is Wonder Woman. And the reason I would say Wonder Woman is, I guess she does more in this, or she is just also way cooler in this than she was in Josh Whedon's, but also she's just cool in general. I love, again, the Banks. I know that not actually everybody, in fact, I would say from what I've seen, most people tend to lean kind of more negative towards that bank scene in the beginning of the movie. I actually really liked it. I really, really did. I think, Gal Gadot is a perfect Wonder Woman as well, so she does an absolutely amazing job. I think she was probably the best character character in Joss Whedon's one. They definitely gave her the most fights, but she was also, again, she lost quite a bit. Like, her entire purpose, especially in the fighting, is to hold Steppenwolf back, because she's like the only one, and then Aquaman kind of, but not even really. Really, it's Wonder Woman. Like, she's the only one who can kind of take him on, at least kind of match him. She won't be able to beat him, but she can at least hold him off. And I think she did relatively the same thing here, but then again, character stuff, building up the lore, like having Diana, you know, that kind of element being a little bit more. I really liked it. I really, really liked her. Not the most glaring changes, like some swaps they did with Batman and stuff, but definitely overall improved. Next up is Flash. Now Flash, I didn't hate him in Joss Whedon's Justice League. I thought that there were definitely jokes that hit, and there were absolutely jokes that didn't hit. And I would actually say almost the same thing for this movie. There was definitely jokes that worked, and then some jokes that just flat. And not even just with Flash, with other characters as well. But look, I actually hate his running style. I think Angry Joe also doesn't like his run. Somebody else doesn't like how he runs. I hate how he runs. I really do. I think it's just I get it. I understand like kind of the physics of it, but it's just the stupidest looking thing on planet Earth to me. But you know what? I'll get over it, and I have gotten over it, because what they do in this movie, even with just a couple additional lines, even with his father, really adds to Barry Allen, which I think is phenomenal, and that was really something that you didn't get all that much in Joss Whedon. So that alone actually really improves the character, because he has more depth to him. And then in terms of him himself, while I didn't love him running up the stairs and saying like this way, like that stuff, that part was stupid. But besides that, he's way more powerful now. And obviously, I've already spoiled some of it, so spoilers. I mean, he literally saves everybody at the end. So his powers are through the roof in this movie, and it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And really, again, not to lie or sugarcoat it, that ending, him basically reversing time to save everybody, to give Cyborg that push. I mean, come on, that was insanely cool. And you know, the version that was in Joss Whedon's, he would never, you know, be able to do that because he was too afraid to do anything. So I really appreciate what they did. Number 2 is Superman. Now, this one's difficult because I don't think he was, like, god-awful in Joss Whedon's. The mustache thing was god-awful, and that every single time you saw him was with that CGI face that looked absolutely terrible. I mean, Henry Cavill gave it his all. I think he still acted, for the most part, like Superman in Joss Whedon's version. Obviously, the "Do You Bleed" line was just so I mean, there's a lot wrong, okay? But I think his portrayal as, you know, Clark, as Superman, was fine in that version. But this one, I mean, my dear God. Number 1, again, it's just great to not see him with the mustache. I mean, when you see him, it's just him every single time, and I'm so pleased with that, you know what I mean? And then number 2, I mean, the black suit, him just kicking the utter life out of Steppenwolf, all of that stuff. I mean, he is phenomenal here. When he comes back to life, all that stuff makes a lot more sense. I mean, it just is. It's really good. Him as Clark makes more sense. So I think they did a phenomenal job. Really, they didn't have to do much. They just had to do a couple different changes, and removing the mustache would go a long way, and that's what they did, and that's how he gets to number 2 on this list. And then obviously, number 1 is Cyborg. Now, again, important to note, Cyborg is still not my favorite character. In fact, I'd probably put Cyborg tied for last with the Flash, maybe, and not, again, like, not that they're unlikable, that I don't like them, but just if I were to rank them, you know, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, stuff like that, maybe in terms of this movie, they were definitely better than Aquaman. But I think Aquaman in general, like Jason Momoa's Aquaman, I like a ton, so it would be a tough ranking. But anyway, Cyborg is absolutely the most improved character in this movie. I will flat out admit, I did not like him whatsoever. I did not care for him whatsoever in the original, in Joss Whedon's. And I think I speak for the majority of people. I don't really think there were many people at all that, like, thought his character was you know, done well. And that's not, you know, that's not really Ray Fisher's fault. That's obviously what they did to his story, because they removed 96% of it. I mean, just the stuff with his dad, the third mother box, which was literally just in Joss Whedon's Steppenwolf, beams in, grabs it, beams out, and that's the scene. Whereas in this one, there's like actual stuff about the third one. I mean, that alone. Then you have his backstory, you have the football game, you have his mom, all of that stuff. I mean, you have him like seeing the future with the Superman stuff, and then him dismantling basically the mother boxes when he has to kind of face what life could be, right? all of that stuff. Really good. It is. It's really, really good. It adds depth. Oh, the one thing I do want to make sure I mention here is the scene where he gives the woman and her kid like $100,000, something like that, right? Like that, he does some really cool stuff that does make him a whole lot more likable. And not just likable, but you, again, understand, I think, where he was coming from. You actually go through a journey with him and his dad, unlike, the other movie, basically. So I think they did such a, better job. Again, I don't think he's the best character in this movie. I would say that. I don't think he's the best DC character, anything like that. He's not my favorite at all, but he's definitely the most improved from Josh Whedon's to this one, okay? So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Who was your most improved? Who did maybe you like the most, right? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. And I do a brand new video every single day on this channel, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.